Alright. Hopefully we're up and running. Alright. Hopefully we're up and running. Yeah, it's weird. It was like not working there for a second. I couldn't figure out what was going on. Had to restart my computer. Then it started work. Maybe something in the background. It's weird. Like, I don't know. It's like not working there for a second. I couldn't figure out what was going on. Had to restart my computer. Then it started work. Maybe something in the background. It's weird. It's like not working there for a second. We'll give it some time. See if anybody pops up. Is looking to watch the stream. Ask some questions. Give it some time. See if I don't think people can talk though. Or chat until I have like more watchers, which is kind of weird. I don't think people can talk. It's kind of strange that that's the way that that is. YouTube doesn't want anybody commenting on somebody's channel if you don't have like 1,000 subscribers, I guess. So you know, it is what it is. Hello, viewer. How you doing? Subscribers, I guess. So. You know, it is what it is. Hello, viewer. How you doing? I'm looking at like probably won't allow you to talk, huh? Yeah, I don't. Yeah, so it should say allow all comments. Alright. Just checked, but... How you doing today? Let's see if I can get back to the page. There we go. Sorry about the problem earlier. I had a little bit of trouble with the Logitech camera. It just wasn't registering. I don't know why. But yeah, welcome to my channel. Doing a little bit of a live stream. Kind of wanted to talk to you guys a little bit more personally about today. See if you guys had any questions about, you know, what's going on in the markets, what I'm kind of seeing, and kind of developments are going on there. I posted a new video, should be live for like right now, if you guys wanted to see kind of what was going on or what I thought about today. Anyways, I just wanted to talk kind of about like what's going on with Square was down quite a bit today. Netflix was down quite a bit as well, almost a 5% drop, and Amazon as well. Tesla took a really big beating. I don't know if you can see that on the board. But man, it was a brutal day in the market, and I think a lot of people are having a little bit of suffering. Some of these stocks are really highly valued too. We've got Square. It's, I think, a really great company that's kind of growing similar to like what the infancy of Netflix was when it first started out. It's kind of building, like trying to go high growth. They're still like making money. They're just like right above or right below the point in where they really need to be making some money. So that they're becoming profitable, but their growth is actually quite good. And Netflix, I think, was kind of similar when they first kind of started out. Well, you know, started into their streaming service, and which is highly competitive today, or will be highly competitive here in the coming future. With, I think, a lot of people realizing that they just want streaming content because it's so much easier to like watch something instead of having to go and, you know, or pay for a cable package. So Square's kind of like built into the infrastructure of a lot of small businesses. I see them at like a lot of, you know, you go get your hair cut, or small businesses, small shops, and, you know, they're making little bits here and there. And if they continue to keep doing that and building throughout not just the United States, but globally, you could see probably a huge pop from, you know, Square over the next 10 to 20 years. So I'd like to invest into Square, but I kind of am concerned about some key features, which is, I think the biggest problem for me is like the stock market is really high right now, and if we have a correction or we have something that pulls back, high growth stocks have a tendency to also pull back really hard as well. So I'm waiting for that to kind of simmer down a little bit, and we'll see how that pans out here in the next like few months. I like to invest in value more than anything. So Square was definitely one that took a little bit of a dump. Now, Amazon, it's a great company too, and that also took a big beating today. I was actually really surprised to see these kind of four major companies taking a big, you know, fall, or not major fall, but definitely falling down a little bit. Tesla is just starting to like blow my mind when it's coming down to its lower evaluation. You know, it took an 8% drop today. I haven't seen Tesla take a drop like this in quite some time. And I think that it's rightfully so. A lot of people were throwing their money into a company that hadn't quite got profitable yet. And I feel like the true valuation of Tesla's stock is probably around the like $160, $70 mark. Like it I mean, truly, its valuation depends on whatever somebody is willing to pay for it. It's similar to like a Bitcoin, or, you know, any kind of cryptocurrency. Same for, you know, I feel like Tesla stock. So that was kind of an interesting thing that I saw kind of coming into the markets, what kind of risk you're willing to take on. And I mean, if you've ever ridden in a Tesla car, they're quite nice. They're pretty cool. I think that the company, if they can expand, bring their price range to, you know, that $35,000 mark, and continue to do that, that you'll see quite a bit of a pop. I'm curious to why it won't let you chat, because I remember seeing on my phone that you tried commenting the other day, and it just didn't come up until like after I was done streaming. So I don't understand why that is. If you're the same person that was watching my channel the other day, anyways. But I think I saw something on information on YouTube that doesn't allow people to comment until I have over 1,000 subscribers, and I'm like really far away from that. Like I'm probably about, I don't even have 100 subscribers yet, so I'm still really relatively new. So a lot of people are probably not going to be able to comment for some time now. So yeah, that's just some things I wanted to touch in the market today. As far as, you know, what was going on, there were some other stocks that took a little bit of a fall. You know, the whole scandal that, or not scandal, that's going on with Facebook, I think kind of brought the markets down a little bit into, you know, I think it's a little healthy, because some of the evaluations on some of these tech stocks have really shot up. And it's not that they're not great growth companies, and I think that they have continued growth coming here in the next 10 to 20 years, but when their earnings are just not even close to what they're earning, if they're even profitable at all. I mean, this company right here hasn't been profitable in some time. And when that happens, I think that evaluations just go way out of whack. And I'm curious to see how it's going to work here in the next like 10 to 20 years. I think that the autonomous vehicle is still very possible. And I think that there's quite a bit of hindrance because of accidents. And this is going to happen. But if you think about the grand scheme of things and how many accidents are actually happening in a day, it's actually crazy. Just from drunk drivers, or, you know, people's, you know, just faulty driving, bad drivers, you know. So that happens all the time, and there's going to be wrecks, you know, where somebody's just like, oh yeah, Tesla was driving the car, you know, like he was doing all the driving. I'm going to blame it. I think I saw a guy that like stomped on the Golden Gate Bridge because his car pulled over, and he was completely like super drunk. And I think that might have actually saved the guy's life because he, like, I don't know what he blew into his alcohol level, but it was actually quite high. So I thought that was kind of funny, you know. It's like Tesla might have saved that guy's life, and he's like, "Oh, it wasn't me driving; it was the car." And I'm like, "What?" That's kind of funny. It'll be interesting to see if there's any laws in place where cars are going to be ferrying people. You know, as Europe, you can go out and drink, but here in the United States, you know, you can't go out and drink. So I wonder how those kind of like things will play out here in the next, you know, 30 years, and what kind of things we can see in the changing of the market. One stock that I was kind of interested in that I thought was really kind of not my favorite company, and it was my first car, but I think if the laws are going to kind of come into play from the Trump steal. I think you could see also in autonomous vehicles as a whole, you might actually see Ford kind of come up because they have actually, I think, a couple factories here in the United States, and they can mass produce quite a few cars. And if autonomy becomes a major thing and they start adapting kind of similar to either the same technology that Tesla is putting into their cars or greater and higher autonomous along the line, I would be really surprised. I wouldn't be really surprised, and that could be a great bump up too, because then you have steel that doesn't get taxed as heavy as it is coming from China, and you could see a massive growth with Ford. Plus, you get that really nice dividend that's coming from the stock as a whole. So, and it took a little bit of a fall. I don't know if you saw any of the faulty equipment that was happening with the car itself, but that was an interesting thing I was thinking about the other day. Is like, what happens if Ford ended up kind of picking up where like Tesla is right now, and where the development will go in the future. And that was one of the things that I was like, wow, you know, this could actually, you know, be a turnaround stock that's kind of been slumping since the 2008, 2009 housing crash. And I'll be really curious to see how that plays out here in the next like 10 to 20 years, because I'm very long when it comes to investing, as I'm rather young. So I'm trying to learn as I go, you know, and that whole ordeal. But oh, I got another watcher. Hey, welcome to my channel. But yeah, I just wanted to talk to you guys about that. I'm actually really like, I don't understand why you guys can't talk. I think that's really strange. It's rather odd. Oh man, oh YouTube. Love the I love YouTube, man. I've been watching YouTube videos since like I was like 14, I think, years old. So I've seen thousands and thousands of videos, and just the changing of channels like over the years has just been crazy. I stumbled across the channel the other day. It was called Mr. Beast. I don't know if you guys. Oh, hey, how you doing? What's up? I don't know how to say your name. Ty Dunn? Oh wait, how you doing? I was just talking about like some of the stuff that's been going on in the market today, and what's going on with some of those stocks and kind of the fall. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I was just talking about. You can watch the stream back a little bit if you need to go over what I was talking about. I was kind of talking about like the upcoming market and how things are going on there, and you know. Oh, good. Good. Yeah, it was a kind of a nice day out here, and I live out in Oregon. It was beautiful weather, so that was kind of nice. Did you have any questions for me by chance about like investing or the stock market? question and answer channel. I actually don't know, to be honest with you. I just started my channel not all that long ago. So yeah, I mean, I'll answer questions and answers, you know, sure. What kind of question do you have for me? Try and answer to the best of my ability, that is. Can you describe the residential income valuation model? Are you talking about the residential income for your surrounding area? That's actually, I'm not. Or are you talking about for the whole United States or the world? That's a really broad topic, I think. One I'm not actually entirely sure of, to be honest with you. I think if you're talking about for your localized area, I mean, there's all kinds of things. Like, for instance, in Seattle, you could have somebody who makes a lot more money. That the average is higher there. Residual. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's a topic that I don't know. For residual income valuation model, I mean, residual income through dividend investing, through, you know, stock market, incorporating the BV of a company to extrapolate the current return on equity with future. Wow. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I just started investing over the past year. So as far as all of that. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, finance is the topic. It's more of about the basic understandings of investing. So I go more into the price of earnings or the PEG ratios. I'm sure you're aware of, since you know a little bit about that. But that's a topic that I could actually look up and learn out more about. It's actually an interesting interesting look at a stock. I think that when I'm looking at a stock, I look at a very broad market and what I personally like to invest in based upon what I like in the company. And where it kind of is price to earnings. So sorry I couldn't answer your question. Apologize. I'll go learn and figure out what that is. Yeah, like the price to earnings or the PEG ratio, price to earnings to growth. There's many different ratios that are commonly associated with like picking out a stock. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll learn about that. Right now, I'm reading. Let's see, Benjamin Graham's The Intelligent Investor. I don't know if you've read that book before. I'm about like 3/4 of the way through. It's a very good book. Unfortunately, I actually don't remember that in his book about CFA levels 1 and 2. But yeah. What do you particularly like to invest in? Or did you have any broad questions about the market in general? Hmm. Well, yeah, his book is rather old. It also has to. He was actually quite fond of bonds during that time, and bonds have been one of those things that I don't think are the best small cap ETFs. Yeah, that's fine. I think that's actually a pretty good investment as a whole. I think last time I checked, Berkshire Hathaway stock was somewhere around like 10, and small cap ETFs could be a very good investment for sure. Could have pretty good growth this year. We'll see how that pans out towards the long haul, but I like just very simple, like the VOO, um, and some indexes that are pretty, like the Vanguard high yield dividend isn't too bad. It's not great in my opinion. I like to invest in individual stocks as well, so I like to be pretty broad and diversified. So, but yeah, I'll look into the CFA level 1 and level 2 series, and r- residual income valuation model. See what I think about that. I'm always liking to learn. Um, I just started on my financial journey not all that long ago. Yeah, it came to me as a major problem. I used to drink a little too much and spend a little too much time not developing myself as an individual. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. It's kind of following similar um, as Warren Buffett, I guess you could say. Warren Buffett is very big on value and growth over long periods of time, but he still also likes to buy really big companies, or at least portions of really large companies as well. But small cap could be a really good endeavor over a long period of time if they end up doing really well. Curious to what you think about Kraft right now. It's one of those companies that kind of in the a little bit of slump and have accrued quite a bit of debt. So, um, but they've fallen quite a bit this year, and their price to earnings is kind of low. So I bought a few shares of Kraft. I thought it was a pretty decent buy. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stocks out there that I think a lot of people have kind of moved away from. You know, they're putting a lot of their money into um, high growth um, tech stocks for sure. I did a quite a good flip on Square not that long ago. I think I had a 45% return. I pulled out of the market before this drop right now because I thought it was quite highly evaluated. And I saw the growth was kind of insane, when you have such a high run up so fast. Um, Jern was another one that I saw that was just kind of like everyone kind of dogpiled into. So you know, it's, it's interesting how the stock market works in general, and how I'm learning just from just starting out. Like I couldn't believe that some of these rocketed to the moon. Um, if this company, I think, ever gets their stuff. Whoop. Do I place investments based on quarterly, yearly earning reports? Um, Not always, actually, to be honest with you. Quarterly earnings and yearly reports do play a factor into investing, but I like checking out the balance sheet. I like listening in on some of the conference calls. I think that's a really important thing when you're going to do any kind of investing and listening in on those. Because just because a stock is based really good on a quarterly or a yearly, you still have to look at the basic fundamentals of where the money is going for the company. Because, look at Enron and what happened years ago. I don't know if you've been investing for a really long time, but it was kind of a disaster, and they were committing fraud. So I don't necessarily always trust what is in the balance sheet. So if there's some things that aren't being told truthful, I think that you should always be aware that that could happen. And you got to pay a little bit of Game of Thrones when it comes to investing. Like Mr. Baelish or whatever. I think, yeah, I do like yearly earnings reports. I do like quarterly earnings reports because, I mean, obviously, if their earnings are going up, then that's good for the stock, right? And I think that there's going to be a lot of share buybacks this year, so the earnings per share is also going to be a different valuation that is happening in the market as a whole. Because the companies are going to be buying their own shares, and when they do that, the earnings per share goes up. So it kind of creates this false kind of earnings per share. You don't think Enron could have been foreseen by the quarterly and annual reports? That's actually a really good question. I should go back and look and see if you could foresee everything that was going on with that stock with their balance sheets at that time. Actually, I think that would be a really good idea because I like to study failure as well as success. So I think you actually could have. That was a very probably good possibility. You could have saw that coming. If you've read Mr. Graham's book, there is some telltale signs that he puts out in there that could be a very big problem for a company. Yes, I think that, yeah, basically the answer is yes, you might have. But, like with all investing, it's good to see kind of, here's this, okay, this is what you're saying to me, let's dig a little deeper. You know what I'm saying? Or if that's my lady, she might be getting off work. Mentions on their board of directors plummeting 2 quarters before they collapse. Yeah. You know what always really bothers me about a stock or is where a CEO starts selling off massive amounts of shares without kind of any heads up or especially before earnings. Sometimes that could be a really bad sign for a company. Or if they stop releasing or delay their earnings reports, sometimes that could also be a really bad sign. I've actually never gone to school or college for finance. I've just learned from picking up books and learning basic fundamentals from the library, to be honest with you. I still have tons to learn, I'm sure. But yeah, that would actually be a really fun one to go back and look at. I'd like to go back. I like to kind of go back and look at some of those stocks and kind of sectors that I think are kind of abandoned. I think that mining sectors right now are kind of abandoned. And a lot of people have moved their money into high growth stocks for sure. Like Zuckerberg. Oh, you think that Facebook is going to be the next downfall? Interesting. I think the thing with Zuckerberg is a little bit. When you get as big as that, you start to turn into what I think is a too big to fail. We'll see how that pans out. Kind of like the 2008 bank crisis that happened during that time. We'll see how that pans out in the long run. That's funny that you say that, like Zuckerberg, Facebook. Yeah. Oh man, that's actually funny. I still see that stock bouncing back potentially. You know, the amount of advertising that they can make, selling off shares. Oh yeah. Well, did he sell off shares? I actually don't know that. If he sold off shares prior to saying anything, that could be actually quite scary. You know, but I mean, look how many users use Facebook, right? You've got maybe like 2 billion people that use Facebook on a pretty regular occasion. I don't know. I just don't see it as potentially, even if he did something wrong and he had to sell off the company to someone else, you know, I can still see Facebook still doing all right. Especially with the future coming up, you know how there's chat rooms now, like how you're having this conversation with me. Imagine a VR setup years down the road where like I can communicate with you as an avatar. Like, I honestly see that happening in the next 20 years. Receipts from Russians. Though, here's something that I thought was really strange, and I'll just throw this out there. Before our presidential election, or on our presidential election day for the Trump and Hillary, my Facebook blew up, just tons of like Trump stuff, and I wonder if that was like some kind of paid advertising, something going on there. I just thought that was really strange, because I wasn't actually necessarily a supporter for Trump, and I was just getting absolutely bombarded with all kinds of like "Make America Great Again" stuff, and I actually like using Facebook, but I have a very limited time. I only spend probably about 15 minutes on it a day. I scroll through some funny cat videos and kind of move on. I don't really concern myself with necessarily news from that a whole lot, if you know what I mean. Because it's kind of all kind of pigeoned into this area, right? People talk about how there's an increase of shootings that's happening here in the United States, and this may be a very sad topic to talk about, but there's thousands of people that die from cardiovascular disease a year. There's tons of problems, and I feel like the media is focusing towards one direction. Twitter and all of Reddit were anti-Hillary propaganda during 2016. Yeah, it's strange that the media controls the people's minds, for sure. And the fact that my whole feed was just blown up on Facebook I was just like, wow, where did this come from? Because it kind of happened, I think, throughout the whole week, right? Through the whole week, there was just like tons and tons of ads, and I don't know where that came from. Who was paying for that? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens in court, but might be one of those scenarios that it's like too big to fail. Like the banks. We may have loaned out tons of subprime mortgages to people that can't pay their bills for their homes, and people who had 3 or 4 homes that they couldn't afford. Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, and I'm really concerned actually with the future of America as a whole, because I think a lot of people aren't they don't see this kind of stuff, and the fact that the dollar is actually kind of relatively worthless as well is actually kind of a concerning thing, and has been for some time, actually before I was even born. But I mean, that's a whole different topic. I'm sure you know that. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how what happens to Mr. Zuckerberg. You know, it's actually really interesting. I've been doing the same thing for probably about 8 years, to be honest with you. I've worked a job where I really wasn't making necessarily what I was hoping that I'd be making, and I thought that life would kind of fall into my lap. I guess that's the self entitlement from the millennial generation. A live stream? I just actually wanted to do a live stream because I have nothing better to do right now, and I'm just trying to build followers, to be honest with you, through my channel. So that's why I live stream. That, and it's my hope that maybe I can basically teach millennials to stop spending so much on coffee and more on savings and investing. But yeah, as far as this channel as a whole, my life kind of was going in this bad direction where I just drank a whole lot, and I spent a lot of my time just paying my bills, and I was kind of depressed. And then I was like, man, it's been 7 years. I really haven't gotten anywhere. I don't have a home. I've been renting, you know, which actually isn't a bad thing now I've looked into investing and, you know, how interest rates work for homes and for cars and all those kind of things. But I just didn't feel like I accomplished anything, and I kind of wanted to create something. Yes, I'm a millennial. Yeah, 100%. 100% a millennial. Yeah. Yeah. I just got told that I could do anything, you know. And the truth is the life is hard. Life is really hard, and you know, you gotta do something, right? So I just kind of wanted to do beer in Oregon is pretty good, so I don't blame you. Yeah, yeah. Beer in Oregon actually is really good. I'm a waiter, so yeah, I work in restaurants, so there's a ton of beer in my area, that's for sure. There's if you like any kind of beer, we've got it here in Oregon. I think we're number 4 in the United States for microbrews or beer in general. So yeah, I can talk to you all day about beer, especially if you like IPAs. If you don't like IPAs, that's totally fine. I understand that too. My beer selection depends mostly on my mood for the summer or the spring, winter, and fall. So yeah. In Portland, it was better. Yeah. What's your favorite brew? Do you have like a favorite beer of choice? Please don't say Coors Light. That's a joke. I mean, you could like Coors Light. I would get it if you liked it because a lot of people like light beer, but personally, I don't like light beer. I did when I was, 12 years old. uh, I mean 21, 21. Yeah. Pretty better than everywhere else. Yeah, stouts and porters. Man, there's some like I there's some really good stuff here that have they're on nitro, and I don't know if you've had a nitro porter or stout, but it makes the beer very smooth, and it has this really nice cascading effect. And I think it's awesome. Like personally, like in the wintertime, I like a really dark stout that has been like aged for some time, and yeah, I think it's a great to kind of sip on. And that's an interesting topic as far as stocks are concerned too, because as you may be aware, Molson Coors and Budweiser hasn't been doing so well, and I think it's because of microbrews. You know, I think a lot of people are starting to realize that there's more to beer than just the light stuff. So how do you like it out in Philadelphia, if you don't mind me asking? Vaping liquids are also better in Portland. That's funny. Yeah. Just quality everything. In Portland in general, or you mean Pennsylvania? Or sorry, Philadelphia? I mean, it's a very Portland's very hipster like. If you like hipster and strangeness, then come to Oregon. It's great over here. I think what I like mostly about over here in Oregon is the fact that I'm not too far away from any, anything. You know, I've got mountains not too far away. I've got the coast not too far away. I've got desert just not too far away too. And then if I really feel like doing some traveling and going to a big city, I can always go to Portland or head south. Oh, really? Um, Quality products are interesting as a whole because um, I think that there's a lot of small businesses that create um, quality products. They just have a really hard time expanding when big businesses buy them out too. So uh, I actually don't know a whole lot of what Philadelphia produces. I haven't actually been to the state. I've only been on the western side. I've been to Washington, California, Idaho, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico. Texas is about as far east as I've got, to be honest with you. Uh, I haven't made it all the way over there yet, but my lady and I probably want to go to New Orleans someday. Just to we like Southern comfort, so we're all about Southern comfort food and just I guess maybe Southern hospitality and just to see. I like jazz too, so I like all kinds of music though. I listen to just about everything from heavy metal to orchestral. Man, quality products. trying to think of like something here in Oregon. You know, I really like Deschutes Brewery. If you ever get to head over here, head out to Bend. Deschutes Brewery has some pretty good stuff. I like a lot of stuff from the Bend area, if you can make it over to the desert side of Oregon. Or like I like to call it, the desert side of Oregon. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, it's good talking to you. I appreciate you stopping by, spreading some more information. It's always good to learn. I appreciate that. And as far as an academic perspective, I would love to go to school, but unfortunately, I put myself quite a bit in debt trying to go to school for something that I didn't really think was that great. I went to school to become an EMT basic and put myself a little bit behind when it came to my finances. So I've been trying to pay back that for years now. I almost got it done, so that's exciting. But yeah, when you realize that you can make just about the same amount waiting tables as saving people's lives, it kind of sucks. Especially when you have to work 35 hours. So yeah, the post PowerPoint presentation on all the chapters of the test for. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm always curious. So if you want to help me, that'd be great. No, you don't have to do whatever you want, man. I just like the basic fundamentals of investing, I guess. You know, a lot of people delve into index funds. I think keeping cash on hand during this time and overinflated market is definitely important. And being very nimble is important too. So, but I appreciate you taking the time, talking with me, watching my stream. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you. Yeah, there, Watcher, did you have any questions for me? I'll probably head off here pretty soon too. My lady's going to be getting off work. Just thought I'd do a little bit of a stream. Hmm. Alright, well, thank you for watching my stream. I appreciate it. thank you for taking the time to watch my videos. I hope you're having a great day, and thank you very much. I'll be back again probably here in the next week or so, and I'll be able to answer any questions on my channel. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys again soon.